Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Today I'm going to talk about how texturism, colorism, and featureism are all male centered. I see a lot of women saying things like, oh, dark skinned, unambiguous women don't get representation in Hollywood, with 4C hair and all that stuff. The first comment that I have on that is, why are you looking to other groups to represent you? Never look to someone else to be your representation because, first of all, you're giving them all the power to harm or hurt you. You're giving them the power to decide whether you succeed or fail. Number two, you should always be representing yourself. So instead of constantly begging for other people to build for you, to build a beauty standard for you, build notoriety and clout for you, instead of doing that, represent yourself. A lot of people say, oh, well, MLS women, mixed race women of all shades, or lighter skinned monoracial women, they only became successful because of colorist people. And I kind of beg to differ because even though I do think some people can be colorist, at the end of the day, this is all about the male gaze. Who created Hollywood? Men. Who are the ones who are often the casting directors, producers, etc.? Men. Who own the channels and the media companies that are promoting all of these people? Men. So this is very male centered. But another thing that I want to say is that, for example, when people said, oh, mixed women took over the hair community, no, mixed women just started creating content representing themselves and saying, hey, you know what? I have XYZ hair texture. I want to create a YouTube channel where I focus on my hair texture and whoever follows me wants to follow me. So if women started following those mixed women who did not have those hair textures, that is not the mixed woman's fault. The mixed woman did the correct thing by representing herself. So just like with my YouTube channel, I stopped complaining and saying, oh, Black women empowerment spaces, they don't talk about the light-skinned experience. They don't talk about the mixed race experience. They don't talk about multi-generationally mixed people. No, instead of looking to other people to represent me and to follow my agenda, I decided to go out and be the builder myself and go out and actually make something of myself and help my own community and represent myself instead of complaining that others didn't represent me or complaining that others didn't create a space for me. No, I created a space for myself. And whoever can relate to me, then, that's who the space ends up being for. So I think mistake number one is looking to someone else to represent you, looking to someone else to promote you. But number two, if you look on a lot of these Black empowerment channels where women are talking about, I'll take hair texture as an example again. They'll be like, oh, I used to be insecure until my white boyfriend complimented my 4C hair. Oh, I used to be insecure about my skin tone, but now I married a guy who's Asian and he loves my skin tone. Even though it's great that you are in a relationship or you're happy or whatever, that is still male centered. So that still exposes the fact that your insecurities were male centered. You were only insecure about your skin tone because you listened to a man who told you that you were unworthy because of your skin tone. So once again, this is why decentering men is pivotal to having any semblance of confidence whatsoever, whether it's about your skin tone, hair texture, race, body type, or anything in between. Because who creates mainstream beauty standards? Men. And it's up to you to decide whether you want to follow what men are doing. I mean, as for me, a part of my decentering men journey is to stop listening to them. Stop giving them weight, stop giving them clout, stop giving them the ability to decide what you should think of yourself. Like if a guy were to tell me, oh, you're not a 10, you're a 6 out of 10, then that's fine. I don't even care what he thinks. Like at least let me be a 6 in peace. At least I get to be a 6 on my own terms and in peace and without being bothered by a man trying to constantly make me feel like I'm not good enough. What a lot of people don't realize is that anytime someone creates a form of media, so it could be a movie, it could be a YouTube video, a TikTok video, or whatever, they have an agenda. So you can't get mad when people have their own independent agendas. Not everybody's going to follow what you want. And if you're that passionate about representation, then guess what? Represent yourself. Think about it. Who is better at representing you than yourself? You were born as yourself. You will die as yourself. So who better to represent you than you? And the more of us that actually begin to stand up for ourselves and create our own YouTube channels or, make our own movies if you have that type of money, then the better it will be, as opposed to constantly crying and begging the white man or begging Black men or begging whoever to represent you. This is why instead of me getting mad that others don't talk about the nuances of the mixed race experience, or they don't talk about the nuances of the lighter skinned experience, they don't talk about the nuances of pretty privilege and pretty girl problems and the traumas that come with that, instead of me getting mad, I just said, you know what? I'm just going to represent myself. I'm going to create my own YouTube channel, and whoever can relate to it can relate to it. And if people don't relate to it, that's fine. But at least I am satisfying my own desire of seeing myself represented. A lot of people, they want to try to police another person's creation. At the end of the day, you did not create Hollywood, so therefore you don't have really a say in the course of how Hollywood is going to go. You didn't create the Grammy Awards, you didn't create the Oscars or the Golden Globes. So you can complain all you want and say, "Oh, you guys didn't let enough black women win the award," but you're actually better off either no longer supporting those award shows and stuff and creating your own award show. So you can't get mad and then not support like the black award shows or something that is run by unambiguous black women. So this is why I say that in terms of the texturism conversation, I'll use that as an example again. This is why I don't really take it seriously when a lot of unambiguous women, maybe they have 4C hair and then they want to call everyone else a texturist, but then they don't want to represent their own hair textures for formal events, or they don't want to represent their own hair textures with the types of weaves that they're doing or the types of wigs they're doing. They have wigs that are like more kinky textures and stuff. You don't have to wear a super silky wig. They have wigs where it's like you can detangle it and stuff, and it is still a kink-along texture, or kind of it has more of a 4C look, or they have the wigs that have the 4C edges, and yes, you can still comb it. Yes, it's very manageable. It still has that extension weave hair feeling, but it's more relative to your hair texture. Like whenever I'm wearing weaves and wigs and clip-ins, I match it to my natural hair texture. I don't ever do anything with a wig or a weave that I cannot achieve with my natural hair. And that boosts my confidence, that boosts my self-esteem, and that boosts my own view of my own hair texture. Because I'm sending a message to the world, but I'm also sending a message to myself that, hey, I am representing my own hair texture as the most beautiful, even if I am wearing extensions, or, even if it is fake, it's going to match whatever my hair texture is. And this is not to shame people who want to experiment with different textures, but just don't complain though if another texture becomes popular and like it's not your own, and maybe you feel like not as pretty with extensions that match your hair texture. Just don't blame it on others who have different hair textures than yourself. Don't get mad at other people because they didn't want to represent you, especially if you are not even bold enough and confident enough to represent yourself. Where is your confidence coming from? Is it coming from being trendy? Is it coming from everybody else thinking you're pretty? Is it coming from white men accepting that you have 4C hair? Oh, okay, now that a white man accepts the fact that I have 4C hair, now I love my 4C hair. Well, why did it take a white man accepting your hair in order for you to love yourself? Why is your self-love placed in the hands of a white man? Why is your self-love placed in the hands of any man? Why did it take a man accepting your body type or whatever for you to appreciate it? When are we as women going to decide our own beauty? When are we going to take control over our own self-perception and our own identities and stop being so male-centered, white supremacy-centered, mixed race-centered, European-centered, or centering anything other than yourself? Like when it comes to my sense of self-esteem that I may have built around, let's say, my hair texture, for example, part of how I built that self-esteem was, yes, I would take care of my natural hair and stuff. I would learn how to style it. But even when I would wear extensions and stuff, I would make sure that I could blend my hair in with the extensions. My favorite types of extensions to wear are things that have leave out. So if it has like a partial sew-in or clip-ins or something where my hair texture or the perimeter of my hair is left out, like micro links, etc. That actually makes me feel the most beautiful and confident because I know that whatever extensions I'm wearing are my hair texture, or something that can be achieved with my hair texture, and that increases my confidence because I'm still getting the length I want, the body I want, or whatever, or the colors that I want, but it's also being done in a way that suits me. It suits my facial features, my, how I was born, basically. It just seamlessly blends in. And that is a part of what gives me the confidence. So I guess my thing is, if you want to build confidence and self-esteem, you're going to have to do things that actually build your self-esteem. So for me, if I put on a pin straight platinum blonde wig that's platinum blonde from root to tip, sure, I might look cute, but it doesn't build my self-esteem. And for some people, looking cute in and of itself is what builds their self-esteem, and that's fine, but the question is, why do you feel you are cutest when you look like XYZ? So that's going to tell you what your real beauty standard is. I mean, there really is no wrong answer, but you may want to ask yourself, why do I feel the cutest when I look mixed? Oh, okay, it's because mixed women are my standard of beauty. And that's not wrong, but just don't go around basically hating on mixed race women or saying, oh, it's not fair that mixed women are praised as the pinnacle of beauty. Well, sis, you are praising mixed women as the pinnacle of beauty by doing your best to appear, kind of as ambiguous as possible. And let's not pretend that you're not trying to do that, because you are. Like when you're contouring your nose into oblivion, when you are taking pictures with as bright of lighting as possible, or using filters that slim your nose, lighten your eyes, etc., that is promoting more of the mixed phenotype. So if you were born like that, that's one thing. But if you are not born like that, then yeah, you're promoting a phenotype that's different than yourself. So like for me, if I am going on Instagram, I don't try to Photoshop myself or put a filter on so that I look like a monoracial Asian girl. Well, no, that's not a part of my background. That's not how I was born, and I will never naturally look that way unless I got surgery or something. But why would I promote something that doesn't quite look like me, especially if I'm going through a phase where I want to build my confidence and self-esteem. You cannot build self-esteem while excluding yourself. And that includes your own hair texture of yourself, your skin tone of yourself, your facial features of yourself, your body type of yourself. You can't build self-esteem without including yourself. So all you're doing is you are building your esteem of mixed women or mixed women's hair or, XYZ skin tones, XYZ phenotypes. So like I said, there is no wrong answer, but if you are suffering with low self-esteem, there are only a couple of reasons why. Either you're male-centered, you're esteeming someone other than yourself, or you are looking to other people to be your representation. You're constantly begging the white man to represent you in the media. You're begging XYZ Hollywood people to represent you, and it's not working. Anyway, what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.